The psychology of serial killers. Picture a typical suburban neighborhood, one filled with neat lawns and friendly faces. Among these faces, consider Ted Bundy, a name that would become synonymous with terror. Bundy, like so many infamous serial killers, led a double life. To the outside world, he was charismatic, educated, and seemingly trustworthy. But beneath this veneer of normality lurked a mind capable of unspeakable acts. Ted Bundy's story is a stark reminder of the enigmatic and disturbing world of serial killers. His ability to maintain a facade of normality while committing heinous crimes is a chilling testament to the complex psychology of these individuals. Bundy was not an outlier in this regard. Many serial killers blend seamlessly into society, hiding in plain sight. The psychology of a serial killer is a bewildering paradox. These individuals often exhibit traits that are alarmingly normal, which they used to their advantage. Bundy, for instance, used his charm and intelligence to win the trust of his victims. This capacity to appear harmless in what makes serial killers like Bundy so dangerous. Take the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, another infamous name. Dahmer led a solitary and unremarkable life in Milwaukee. To his neighbors, he was a shy, introverted young man. Yet, behind the doors of his apartment, Dahmer committed atrocities that shocked the world. His case, like Bundy's, forced us to question how well we truly know these individuals around us. The journey into the mind of a serial killer is not just about the crimes they commit, but the dichotomy within their psyche. These individuals harbor dark impulses beneath a surface of normality. For Bundy, Dahmer, and others like them, their crimes were a means of exerting control, a twisted form of self-expression in their otherwise unremarkable lives. Their acts, while reprehensible, provide a window into the darkest corners of the human mind. They challenge our understanding of morality and sanity. The question that arises is how individuals like Bundy and Dahmer, who are so like us in many ways, can diverge so drastically into the path of violence and depravity. As we delve deeper into this exploration, we must brace ourselves for uncomfortable truths. The psychology of serial killers like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer reveals a disturbing facet of human nature. It confronts us with the reality that evil can and does exist in the most ordinary places and within seemingly ordinary people. Understanding the minds of these individuals is not just an academic exercise. It's a journey into a realm of psychology that is often ignored, misunderstood, or generally not talked about. It's a path that requires us to confront unsettling realities about human nature and the capacity of evil. As we move away from the deceptively calm surface of their lives and into the turbulent waters of their psyche, let's prepare to delve deeper into the making of a monster. Stay tuned as we explore the childhood and development of serial killers in the next segment of our journey into the unknown. The making of a monster. Childhood and development of serial killers. The descent into the realm of serial killers often begins in the most formative years of their life, their childhood, a time typically associated with innocence and learning. This time can play a pivotal role in shaping the future of an individual. For many serial killers, their childhoods were filled with trauma, neglect, and abuse, elements that contributed significantly to their disturbing development. Consider the case of Aileen Wuornos, a notorious female serial killer. Wuornos' childhood was a tapestry of neglect and abuse. Abandoned by her mother at a young age, she faced horrific sexual abuse and was later forced into prostitution. This traumatic upbringing created a foundation of rage and mistrust that would later fuel her murderous spree. Similarly, the infamous Charles Manson, grew up in an environment of instability and neglect. His mother, a teenage alcoholic, was unable to provide a stable home, leading to Manson's immersion in a life of petty crime and eventually the formation of the murderous Manson family cult. Manson's childhood experiences, devoid of love and filled with rejection, played a crucial role in his psychological development. The story of Henry Lee Lucas is another grim example. Lucas's mother was abusive and controlling, often beating him and dressing him in girls' clothing as a form of humiliation. These early experiences of abuse and degradation contributed to his twisted worldview and his subsequent involvement into behavior that was very violent. These examples highlight a common theme in the backgrounds of many serial killers: a childhood riddled with trauma, the lack of a stable, loving environment. Well, these all can create a deep psychological scar, which in some cases may contribute to the development of serial killers. It's important to note, however, that not all individuals who experience, these childhood traumas become criminal, and not all serial killers have traumatic childhoods. The connection, while significant, is not detrimental. This early exposure to violence and neglect often leads to the development of antisocial behavior, a lack of empathy, and difficulties in forming healthy relationships like friendships and, intimate relationships with the opposite gender. For Wuornos, Manson, and Lucas, the combination of their environment and their inherent psychological makeup set them on a path towards violence and infamy. It is also worth considering the role of biological factors. Emerging research in neuroscience and psychology suggests that certain genetic and neurological factors may predispose individuals to violent behavior. When combined with a traumatic environment, these biological predispositions can create a perfect storm for the development of an infamous serial killer. As we examine the twisted path that led these individuals to become serial killers, it is crucial to understand the complex interplay of environmental, psychological, and biological factors. They all play a huge role here. Their stories are not just justifications of their heinous crimes, but rather insights into the multifaceted nature of human development and the potential for darkness within. As we leave the troubled waters of their childhoods behind, let's move forward to the next segment of our journey. We will explore the common psychological traits and patterns among serial killers, venturing deeper into their minds to understand what sets them apart from the rest of society. So stay tuned as we uncover the enigmatic profile of a serial killer. Psychological traits and patterns of serial killers. So let's see what their psychological traits and patterns are. Venturing deeper into the minds of serial killers, we encounter a complex web of psychological traits and behavior patterns that set them apart from the average human being. These traits not only provide insights into their actions, but also challenge our understanding of the human psyche. One of the most significant traits observed in serial killers is a profound lack of empathy. They just cannot feel sorry for their victims. This detachment from the emotional experiences of others is exemplified in the case of Ted Bundy. Bundy, known for his charm and intelligence, displayed a chilling ability to manipulate those around him. Showing no remorse for his actions, his lack of empathy allowed him to commit horrific crimes without the burden of guilt associated with it. So, in other words, he could commit crimes and just go to sleep after like nothing happened. Another common trait is narcissism, a trait glaringly present in the personality of Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer's actions were driven by a deep-seated narcissistic need for control and dominance over his victims. This grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for his victims' suffering, were central to his psychological profile. Antisocial personality disorder is also prevalent among serial killers. This disorder, characterized by a disregard for social norms and the rights of others, was very evident in the life of Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker. His criminal behavior and the aggression towards others were indicative of this antisocial personality disorder. Many serial killers also exhibit a pattern of escalating behavior, starting often with a small act of violence or cruelty. They gradually escalate to more serious crimes. This escalation can be seen in the case of John Wayne Gacy. Gacy's criminal behavior began with lesser offenses before escalating to the brutal murder of 33 young men and boys. This pattern of escalating is a key aspect to the behavioral profile of serial killers. The combination of these psychological traits and behavior patterns creates a disturbing profile. These individuals, capable of such calculated and cold-blooded crimes, often appear normal to the outside world. This quality is what makes these serial killers both fascinating and terrifying. It is important to note that while these traits are common among serial killers, they are not exclusive to them. Many individuals may exhibit one or more of these traits without ever engaging in criminal behavior. However, in the case of serial killers, these traits combine in a unique way and deadly as well. The psychological landscape of serial killers is not just a matter of inherited traits, but also a result of their experiences and choices. Each killer's background, experiences, and decisions contribute to the development of their criminal behavior. The interplay between nature and nurture, personality and environment, shapes their path to becoming what they are. Understanding these psychological traits and patterns is crucial to not only understand the criminal profile and prevention, but also for a deeper comprehension of a human behavioral standpoint in these extreme conditions. The study of a serial killer offers us a window into the darkest corners of the human mind, revealing what happens when the complex tapestry of human psychology is woven with threads of pathology and violence. As we peel back the layers of their minds, we are confronted with a disturbing truth. These individuals, thought extreme, are a part of the human spectrum. Their existence challenges our notion of morality, sanity, and the capacity for evil within us all. With these insights into the psychological traits and patterns of serial killers, we move forward to the next point in our exploration. We will delve into the compulsive nature of their crimes, examining the thrill of the hunt and what drives these individuals to do what they did. So, join us as we continue to unravel the complex psychology of serial killers, venturing further into the dark and enigmatic world that they inhabit. So, the thrill of the hunt, the compulsive nature of serial killing. In the eerie journey through the psychology of serial killers, the pivotal aspect is their compulsive nature, often described as an addiction to killing. This compulsion is a relentless drive that pushes them to commit heinous acts. It is a complex and chilling facet of their psyche, a part of them. At the heart of this compulsion is the thrill of the hunt, a perverse form of gratification that fuels their crimes. Serial killers often describe a sense of exhilaration and omnipotence during their acts. This feeling is not just about the act of killing itself, but also encompasses the planning, stalking, and exertion of control over their victims. One of the most infamous examples of this compulsion is Ted Bundy. Bundy's crimes were driven by a deep-seated need for power and domination. He often revisited the sites of his crimes and kept souvenirs, indicating a psychological need to relive his killings. Bundy's behavior exemplifies the addictive and ritualistic nature of serial killing, where each act serves to fulfill a psychological craving. Similarly, the Zodiac Killer, who terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s, exhibited a compulsion for power and recognition. His cryptic letters to the newspapers, in which he demanded they publish or else he would kill again, demonstrates his needs for control and notoriety. The Zodiac's killer craving for public acknowledgement and the thrill of evading capture were integral in his criminal persona. Another example is Dennis Rader, known as BTK Killer, bind, torture, kill. Rader's methodological and deliberate approach to his crimes, along with his long interval between killings, suggest a deeply integrated compulsive behavior. He took pleasure in taunting the police and media, indicating a thrill that went beyond the killings themselves. Rader's case highlights the aspect of serial killing as a form of psychological addiction, where the process and the rituals of the crimes are as crucial as the act itself. This compulsive nature often leads to an escalation in the frequency and brutality of their crimes. Serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer evolved in their methods over time, seeking more elaborate and risky ways to fulfill their desires. Dahmer's progression from murder to acts of necrophilia and cannibalism underlines the escalating pattern often seen in serial killers as they continually seek to satisfy their compulsion. Understanding the compulsive nature of serial killing is critical in comprehending the mindset of these individuals. Their actions are not merely a series of isolated events, but are driven by a deep-rooted psychological need and impulse. This impulse is a combination of various factors, including their need for control, a desire to feel powerful, and an addiction to the emotions elicited by their actions. The concept of the thrill of the hunt in the context of serial killing is both horrifying and fascinating. It provides a glimpse into a mind driven not just by a desire to kill, but by an addiction to the entire process. A process that gives them a sense of purpose, power, and a twisted satisfaction. This exploration into the compulsive nature of serial killers reveals not just why they do what they do, but also the how of their continued evasion and persistence. It challenges us to understand the depths of human depravity and the complex interplay of psychological factors that drive these individuals. As we conclude our examination of the compulsive nature of serial killers, we prepare to delve into the next aspect of our exploration. We will focus on the methods and madness behind the planning and execution of their crimes, uncovering the terrifying truth behind their calculated chaos. So stay tuned as we continue to venture deeper into the dark and twisted world of serial killers. Methods and madness, planning and execution of serial killers. As we delve further into the psychology of serial killers, we encounter the meticulous and often elaborate planning that goes into their crimes. This methodological approach reveals a level of calculation and foresight that is both chilling and intriguing, providing key insights into the minds of these individuals. The planning stage is crucial for many serial killers, as it involves not only the selection of a victim, but also the careful orchestration of how the crime will unfold. This phase can be as gratifying for the killer as the act itself, fueled by a sense of control and anticipation. One striking example of meticulous planning is seen in the case of John Wayne Gacy, known as the killer clown. Gacy's method involved luring young men into his home under false pretenses, such as the promise of work or social gathering. Once there, they would fall prey to his murderous intent. Gacy's ability to maintain a facade of normality, even hosting neighborhood parties while committing these atrocities, demonstrates a high level of premeditation and duplicity. Similarly, the BTK killer, bind, torture, kill, Dennis Rader, displayed a chilling level of planning in his crimes. Rader carefully selected his victims, stalked them to understand their routines, and prepared meticulously for each and every murder. His detailed planning extended to sending taunting letters to the police and media, showcasing a perverse pride in his actions and his ability to evade capture. The case of the Zodiac Killer also highlights the importance of planning. The Zodiac's use of ciphers and cryptic messages sent to the newspapers and police was a calculated effort to instill fear and assert control. The complexity of his communications and the elusive nature of his identity indicate a deeply strategic mind. In examining these cases, it becomes apparent that the planning phase is not just about logistics, but also about psychological gratification. For these killers, the process of planning grants a sense of power and mystery over their victims and the authorities do them. It is a game of cat and mouse, where they relish in fear and confusion they create. The execution of their crimes, too, reflects their psychological state. Many serial killers exhibit signature behaviors or rituals during their killings. These rituals, whether they involve a specific method of murder or post-mortem acts, are a crucial part of their psychological makeup. They provide a sense of identity to the killer and are often deeply intertwined with their motivations and fantasies. Understanding the methods and madness of serial killers often is disturbing, but very necessary to give us a glimpse into their psyche. It allows us to see beyond the brutality of their actions and into the intricate planning and execution that define their modus operandi. This insight is not only crucial for criminal profiling and prevention, but also helps us understand the depths of human complexity and the potential for evil that lurks within them, or maybe within us all. As we conclude this exploration of the calculated chaos behind the serial killer's method and madness, we move forward to the final aspect of our journey. We will now examine the social impact and legacy of these infamous individuals, reflecting on what their existence reveals about society and the human nature. Stay tuned as we venture into the unsettling aftermath of serial killing. Impact and legacy: the social consequences of serial killers. The impact of serial killers extends far beyond their immediate victims. Their actions ripple through society, leaving a legacy of fear, fascination, and often a deep introspection into the human condition. Understanding this impact is crucial in comprehending the full scope of their influence. Serial killers often instill a pervasive sense of fear within communities. The fear can alter the very fabric of daily life, influencing behaviors and perceptions. The case of the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, is a prime example. During his reign of terror in California, Ramirez instilled widespread fear, leading to increased security measures in homes and a highlighted sense of vigilance among residents. His ability to invade homes randomly made the threat feel very universal, disturbing the sense of safety that people felt in their own homes. Similarly, the Zodiac killer's cryptic letters and elusive nature created a climate of fear and fascination that extended far beyond the immediate areas of his attacks. His ability to evade capture and the public nature of his, communications created a sense of an omnipotent and unpredictable threat. The legacy of serial killers also often premeditates popular culture. Books, movies, and television series about figures like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer, as we can see now on Netflix, reflects a social fascination with these individuals. This fascination raises questions about why society is so captivated by these dark figures. It suggests a complex interplay of fear, curiosity, and a desire to understand the extremes of human behavior. And I think me and, you, the viewer, fit into the third category. Their existence challenges us to confront uncomfortable aspects of the human nature and the capacity of evil. As we reflect on the societal impact and enduring legacy of serial killers, we recognize that their stories are a part of a larger narrative about human nature and society as a whole. Their existence prompts us the question, to fear and seek understanding of the face of darkness. Having explored the far-reaching impact of serial killers, we now conclude our in-depth journey into their dark world. This exploration has taken us through the twisted corridors of their minds and the societal echoes of their crimes, leaving us with a deeper, albeit unsettling, understanding of the complexities of human behavior. So in conclusion, unraveling the dark tapestry, the insights and reflections of serial killers. So, as we reach the conclusion of our exploration into the dark and complex world of serial killers, it is crucial to reflect on the insights gained and the broader implications of what we've learned. This journey has not only been about understanding the individual psychologies of notorious criminals, but also about confronting the darker aspects of human nature and society. Our examination began with a look into the troubled childhoods of individuals like Aileen Wuornos and Charles Manson. Their stories underscored the potential impact of early life experiences on psychological development. While not deterministic, these formative years often set the stage for future behaviors, highlighting the intricate interplay between nature and nurture. We then delved into the distinct psychological traits of serial killers, such as the lack of empathy in Ted Bundy and the narcissism of Jeffrey Dahmer. These traits, combined with patterns of behavior like escalation and ritualism, paint a picture of a deeply disturbed psyche. However, they also remind us that these traits exist on a spectrum within all humans, challenging our understanding of morality and mental health. The thrill of the hunt, a key aspect of the serial killer's psyche, was exemplified in the compulsive nature of Ted Bundy's crimes and the methodical planning of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. This compulsion, akin to an addiction, provides a frightening glimpse into the depths of human depravity and the complexities of psychological addiction. In examining the methods and madness of these individuals, we saw the meticulous planning of John Wayne Gacy and the calculated execution of the Zodiac killer. Their actions were not just brutal, but emblematic of a deep-seated need for control and dominance, revealing the intricate and often ritualistic nature of their crimes, which they were. The societal impact of serial killers, as seen in the widespread fear instilled by Richard Ramirez and the influence of Ted Bundy on popular culture, illustrates the far-reaching effects of their actions. These individuals not only leave behind a legacy of fear and trauma, but also shape cultural narratives and influence advancements in law enforcement technology and forensic science. Reflecting on this journey, we recognize the importance of understanding the psychology of these serial killers. It is a pursuit that extends beyond criminal profiling and morbid fascination. It is about grasping the complexities of the human mind and the social structures that shape it. In understanding the extreme, we gain insights into the human condition, our societal values, and the boundaries of human behavior. As we conclude this video, I thank you for joining me in this challenging yet enlightening journey. Your engagement and curiosity are invaluable to the pursuit of understanding and awareness. If you found this journey into the mind of serial killers insightful and thought-provoking, I invite you to subscribe the channel for more deep dives like this one. So, thank you for the support and see you in the next video.